So,
In light of the recent CDK cyber attack, which stocks could benefit the most from increased cybersecurity demand?
I think we talked about it, but CrowdStrike for sure.
Yep.
And shout out to all you cybersecurity companies that are paying people to go hack some of these so they can hire you. Well played, my boy. I think CrowdStrike will probably be the biggest benefit, and have the most upside for sure. But as we become more dependent upon technology and especially AI, I'm really interested to see who is able to stop some of these issues from happening while using AI or thwart these attacks. But cybersecurity is only going to get bigger. I know it's not the most fashionable thing to talk about, but as we're more data dependent, more internet and technology dependent in every sector that we live in the States, these companies are going to be a lot more valuable. Sure.
I looked at the list where we had CrowdStrike. We spoke about them, loved them. Zscaler is definitely number 2. I see Fortinet and Cloudflare here. I think those are reputable, but I'm going to replace those two with a different two. I'm going to put Okta, ticker OTA.
Yeah, I like Okta.
So what they do, obviously these are all in cybersecurity. So they pioneer the identity and access management, which rethinks traditional security by using zero trust architecture. And that's another homework assignment. Look up the zero trust architecture so you can understand what the process of that is. And so that helps with identity management, which is important when obviously in cyber attack. But the other one, I think I would probably put at 2, or I'm not mad if they're 3, but Palo Alto. I think
they're better.
If I had to pick 4, it would be CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Okta, Palo Alto to watch over the next 5 to 10. Cloudflare I would put in as an honorable mention, but Palo Alto they focus on protecting traffic into physical locations such as offices and data centers. Whatever you've been hearing about NVIDIA in terms of its growth, why is it growing? Because of the data center business. And so if they're focusing on data centers and offices and physical locations, you can see why protection there is going to be paramount over the next 5, 10. Because if NVIDIA is doing it, you're going to see other semis in that space realize that, we have to figure out how we capitalize on our data center development and the security around it. So I'm putting Palo Alto. I'm actually going to put it at 2.
Yeah, I agree. Because I would Zscaler and Fortinet. If I was on a dating show, I'd definitely pop the balloon on them. So Palo Alto I like a lot better. And wait till NVIDIA put some of this AI shit in the cloud in a couple of years. And a couple of rumbles. Man, it's getting competitive out here. It is getting competitive. Remember where you heard it first.
The real wars.
Yes. Put the AI in the cloud. Gonna be interesting.
Do small cap stocks have a chance to perform well by the end of the year? What are the key factors to watch?
Maybe, but I'm going to be very honest. Why invest in small cap stocks when the entire world has converged on a couple of sectors? Like, stop anti-trend investing. Like, there's 2 things you can do. You can either follow the trend or follow the sentiment, or you can go against it. The best investors will find a contrarian idea, but contrarian is not the same as going opposite of trend. We've talked about the Russell 2000 before, but I've always stated big tech is the way to go. Hence 2 index. So can you find a gem in the Russell 1000, Russell 2000? Sure. The Bovespa, maybe. But I think you're setting your money on fire if you're looking to find 5 or 15 companies in the Russell 2000 that are going to outpace what's happening in S&P and NASDAQ. So will it go up in aggregate? Yes. But I think we have a clear leader in the S&P, NASDAQ, and then Dow. Those I would look at as like alternative investments, if you will, because they're never going to be the leader.
Yeah, it's tough. The economic factors have just not worked in its favor. So when you're talking about small cap stocks, and for those who are new to the show and may not have known what a small cap is requirement, so it has a market capitalization between 300 million and $2 billion dollars. I mean, it's tough, right? When you pick the small cap, number one, they're volatile, and 2, they're less likely. It's less likely to be profitable. And so when you think about those 2 factors, volatile, less likely, that doesn't sound like something you should invest in. Can there be diamonds in there? Yes, but when you're talking about interest rates at the rate that they're at, does that help small cap businesses? Not as much, right? When interest rates are lower, it costs them less to do business. They thought there was going to be 6 rate cuts. that would have been an indicator to say, okay, these are some of the business you can invest in. And then AI. I mean, you need capital to participate in that space.
Yeah.
So if you're growing your business and you got to have that as a capital expenditure, it makes it tough to grow your business. So will they rebound at some point? Yes. I don't know if it's by the end of this year, because people are going to continuously invest in the growth stocks and the tech companies that are making the money now. It's tough for me to tell somebody to say, hey, go invest in one of the companies in the Russell when NVIDIA is performing the way it is, when TSM is performing the way it is, when a Qualcomm or an Apple are performing
AMD,
the way they are.
we can go to other sectors and
It's
pick
just,
bigger winners. Exxon Mobil, it looks like a tech stock. And the Russell 2000 hasn't hit a new high since 21.
it's tough.
Come on.
Yeah. But those economic factors change, then that might be an opportunity to maybe look at some of the companies there.
Yeah. But I can't name maybe 10 years that the Russell 2000 outpaced the S&P or NASDAQ in gains. Yeah. It's usually like a way to offset your portfolio as a hedge.
Right.
But as a leading index to invest in,
yeah. What would you say for a beginner investor? Would you recommend that? Because I mean, when people look at it, number one, they look at it and say, hey, it's cheaper. Yeah, and this is almost like when we tell people, hey, are you trying to hit the grand slam, or are you going to go with the batting average?
That's the reason why it's cheaper. And just because the price is lower doesn't mean the return will be higher, i.e. my competitors. I hear you, but there's a reason why certain things cost, because the value and the premium to the upside and the expectation of return or gains. I mean, I've traded the Russell 2000 on the future side for damn near 8-9 years. ES is a hell of a lot easier to trade as a result, and the companies in it are a lot more stable. Yep. And if you look at it, the S&P and NASDAQ has less volatility now and is giving you the returns that the Russell or the German DAX used to give you. That's why I say everybody on earth is your competition. For a long time, it was 7 to 12%, 15% if you get lucky. Now, VOO, VGT, SPY, they're giving you more gains than that with less drawdown and more buyers in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hit the like button and share, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so with lumber futures on a significant decline, yields coming down, and M2 money supply slowly declining, what should we expect in the next 2 years? Where are we finally facing a long-term anticipated recession?
I've been stating this forever. When they change the definition of the recession, like if I shoot a 3 over Luka and they tell me it's a 2-pointer, well, what can I do? Game's over. Game's rigged. This is another way that the market is permanently rigged to stay up. If you can change the rules, like I think the lumber market will be fine. It went through a similar correction a couple of years ago. M2 money supply, I am concerned about. There's less money circulating. But when you have now what they are calling a selective recession, and it's not a broad sweeping recession, which is another way to make the wealth gap wider and make the gap from rich and poor wider, what can you do? If they're changing the rules in front of you, you have to adjust to the rules accordingly. So I don't think we'll ever have a traditional recession over these next 4 or 5 years. And you have to adjust your returns accordingly. Invest in Bitcoin, invest in Nvidia, invest in Apple, invest in Microsoft. You'll be good. The lumber market, if you're trading the lumber futures, I would say you probably should go to another asset that may give you better gains. And let's draw down, look at crude as a result. Look at gold, Russell future, trade that. But I don't think they want us to have a traditional recession, because if so, it'll reveal too much in what's happening. And I think it may set us back 10 or 15 years. Like that 2000 through 2010 period where we had a lost decade, they don't want us to go through that again. So they're trying, I think, to use every weapon in a toolbook, in a tool belt to prevent us from being there, even though it's unfair.
Yep. Okay.